Welcome to the video lecture on Paradise Lost, Book 9, written by John Milton. John Milton was a renowned English poet, polemicist, and civil servant. He is considered the most significant English author after William Shakespeare. Milton was born on December 9 in London, England. He studied at Christ's College, Cambridge. He served as a civil servant for the Commonwealth of England under Oliver Cromwell. He is best known for his epic poem Paradise Lost, widely regarded as the greatest epic poem in English. His other notable works include Areopagitica, Lycidas, and Samson Agonistes. Milton's works had a profound influence on the American and French revolutions. His advocacy for the abolition of the Church of England and the execution of Charles I was reflected in his prose works. Despite going blind in his 40s, Milton continued to write and publish influential works on politics, religion, and literature. Paradise Lost as an epic. Key features. An epic is a genre of classical poetry originating in Greece. It is a long narrative about a serious or worthy traditional subject. The diction is elevated in style, employing a formal, dignified, objective tone and many figures of speech. The narrative focuses on the exploits of a hero or a demigod who represents the cultural values of a race, nation, or religious group. The hero's success or failure will determine the fate of that people or nation. The action takes place in a vast setting, covering a wide geographic area, frequently sometime in the remote past. The action contains superhuman feats of strength or military prowess. Gods or supernatural beings frequently take part in the action to affect the outcome. The poem begins with the invocation of a muse to inspire the part. The narrative starts in the middle of the action with the earlier events recounted in flashbacks. The epic contains long catalogues of heroes or important characters. The epic employs extended similes at appropriate parts of the story. So the epic poem opens on the fiery lake of hell, where Satan and his army of fallen angels find themselves chained. Satan calls a council to decide on their course of action. Beelzebub suggests they take the battle to earth to corrupt man, God's new creation. Satan travels through chaos and arrives at earth, connected to heaven by a golden chain. God witnesses Satan's journey and tells his son that Satan will corrupt man. His son offers to die a mortal death to bring man back into God's grace. Satan disguises himself as a cherub to get by the angel Uriel, who is guarding earth. He enters the Garden of Eden and encounters Adam and Eve. God sends Raphael to warn Adam and Eve about Satan. Raphael narrates how Satan fell and the subsequent battle in heaven. Eve, working separately from Adam, is seduced by Satan in the form of a serpent to eat the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. Adam also eats the fruit. God sends the Son to judge Adam and Eve. The Son condemns Eve to painful childbirth and submission to her husband, and Adam to a life of hard work. Satan returns to hell victorious, but finds his fallen companions transformed into ugly monsters and reptiles. Adam and Eve ask for God's forgiveness. God agrees not to lose mankind completely to sin, death, and Satan. Michael is sent by God to escort Adam and Eve out of the garden. He tells Adam what will become of mankind until the Son comes to earth. So this is the brief intro to the Paradise Lost, covering all the 12 books. Now getting into the summary of Book 9. Book 9 of Paradise Lost by John Milton marks a tragic turn in the epic narrative. So, with Raphael's departure for heaven, the story no longer consists of conversations between heavenly beings and humankind. Milton explains that he must now turn to Adam and Eve's actual act of disobedience. The poem must now turn tragic. Milton invokes Urania, the celestial patroness and muse of Christian inspiration, and asks for her to visit him in his sleep and inspire his words. Satan returns to the Garden of Eden 8 days after he was caught and banished by Gabriel. He sneaks in over the wall, avoiding Gabriel and the other gods. After studying all the animals of the garden, Satan considers what disguise he should assume and chooses to become a snake. Before he can continue, Satan hesitates, not because of doubt this time, but because of his grief at not being able to enjoy this wondrous new world. The next morning, Adam and Eve prepare for their usual morning labors. Realizing that they have much work to do, Eve suggests that they work separately. After much resistance, Adam concedes as Eve promises Adam that she will return to that bower soon. The central theme is the temptation of Eve by Satan, influenced by Eve's curiosity, sense of isolation, pride and fear. Satan's flattery also plays a role in her temptation. Milton explores the nature of evil through the character of Satan and his manipulation of Eve. Evil is portrayed as cunning, seductive, and capable of exploring human weakness. So, Adam and Eve's disobedience leads to the loss of their innocent and blissful existence in the Garden of Eden. They experience shame, guilt, fear, and are exposed to the harsh realities of the fallen world. The poem raises questions about free will and the choices made by Adam and Eve. It emphasizes the responsibility that comes with freedom and the consequences of making choices that go against God's will. Despite the dire consequences of their disobedience, there is a glimmer of hope in the form of the promise of redemption through the eventual coming of Jesus Christ. The angels prophesy that mankind will be saved from the fall through the sacrifice of the Son of God. Thank you for watching.